to you live from the mountains of smoke. Firekeeper recovery bringing you hope. If you're living in darkness, look for the light, cause our fire is burning and they're helping you fight. It's the firekeepers, the firekeepers, 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 firekeepers. Recovery, bumpin' BG, talk recovery. Firekeepers, firekeepers. Welcome to Firekeeper Recovery. I'm Brant.
Jeremiah Pheasant.
And today we're joined by our special guest who is a certified drug and alcohol counselor at the hospital. He's also been in recovery for years now.
Yeah.
After probably a long road like the rest of us. So he's been around the world. Let me introduce today's special guest, Robert Martens.
Hey, glad to be here. Happy to help. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just happy you're here.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
And as always, we'll do a quick check-in. Just for the past couple of days, I've been doing pretty good. It's just been like always. The routine is steady, and the new things haven't disrupted anything. It's just been extra. It's been added extra on top. It's not like anything new is a struggle. It's all just blessings. It seems like.
Yeah.
So it's just been a crazy shift of energy. We let's keep going. The domino effect is going forward now in positive ways. Yeah, man.
Cool.
How about
Myself, just been having, I had like a pretty bad few days. Because last time I was on here, I was all excited because we mentioned we was having a baby. And now we found out that we lost it. So that kind of took away the happiness. But I ain't letting it get to me like I would have in the past, and even thought about like using or anything. There's no way we'd do that. I just look at the positive side where God had other plans for that child, and so I look at it as we got another chance anyway. We got plenty more chances to get another one, make it right, hopefully. And other than that, it's working and staying sober. Oh yeah.
Yeah. First off, like, I'm really glad I'm doing this with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, we've been bros for over 20 some years, all of us. You know what I mean? That's really cool. And I like what you said about even the problems or the stress and stuff is still a blessing. You know, it's crazy that we can see it from that point of view now. You know what I mean? That's just growth. You know what I mean? That's good to see, man. But lately for me, things have been pretty good. Kids are doing good. I got my grandson now. You know, he's happy to see me all the time. He doesn't know me like the old me at all. You know, and I really cherish that. He only knows me as Grandpa's funny and cool, and it will be there if he need. You know, so that's cool. You know, I've just been spending a lot of time with my girlfriend and my family, and trying to finish the summer having a good time with family, you know what I mean?
That's good. It's always good to be with family because anymore family don't get together like they used to no more.
No, that's me and my cousin was talking about that the other day. Like, after my grandma passed away, all those big things at grandma's house stopped. You know what I mean? It seems
like every time somebody's grandmother or grandfather passes away, when the grandparents go, then the family get-togethers go along with them. That's the way it seems, for real.
Yeah, when we were kids, our cousins were like brothers and sisters to us, right? I'm sure you guys' family was like that, and now it's not like that anymore. You know, like my sister doesn't have kids, but my brother does, and our kids are like growing up like we did, you know, super close. But the family in general is not like that, like it used to be, you know.
And that's why I cherish the family that I have here. Up here, because my cousin Sam is the one who took over, and she's the one who had dinners. Make sure that all Tabby's grandkids and Bill's grandkids, everybody's kids are together. Yeah, man, it is. I'm glad I have that.
Oh, Sam, she's always had that that motherly instinct about her, whatever, you know, quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad everybody is trucking on.
Yep.
Even after the hard week, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and give Rob the questions. So, question one we start off with is, what were some of the things, events that helped move you out of active addiction and into recovery?
Well, I talk about this a lot with different people because I tried so many times not wholeheartedly to get clean. You know what I mean? Like there was times I pretended like I just wanted a vacation from the dope life. You know, like I knew I wasn't gonna quit, but it was so bad that I needed a break. You know, and I would go to rehab. I went to rehab at a young age, at 18 or 19, and I loved it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are like, oh, I gotta go to rehab, mad about it, like this is it. I was like, yo, this is great, because I was like already full-blown junked out at that age, you know, and so I had a safe place to sleep, I had 3 meals a day, everybody's like telling good to you, you know, like how you doing, giving each other hugs, you know, like it was such a break from the darkness that I was like, oh, this is fun, you know, and I would go back out and be messed up again, and that went on for years and years and years. You know, I'd take a break, go to rehab, but this last time I was 34, 35, and by this time it was 21 years in the dope game, you know, and when I say dope game, I mean strung out, homeless, walking the roads, you know, burnt every bridge. You guys know, you know, and I'm sure everybody watching knows exactly what I mean when I say that, you know, but so 21 years in the game, I was tired of being a loser. Like I really looked back at my life and I realized like I had nothing. I had nothing to show for my 34, 35 years here on earth. I didn't own anything. I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have a debit card. I didn't have a good relationship with my family. I didn't have anything. You know, I was a shit dad. You know what I mean? I was a horrible brother. You know, everything you can think of, I was bad, you know, at it. I was tired of it, man, and it was either I was gonna die or I was gonna get clean. Like those were the only two options, man, and luckily I chose to get clean, you know.
And it makes you think what little bit positivity you can give somebody in their life. How much it'll change them around. How much they'll start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Instead of, like you said, looking back at the dark times, like they may be stuck in.
I only saw the darkness. You know, like I had no hope. And I know it's kind of cliche, but that's how it was, man. I had no hope for the future. You know what I mean? And I just only saw, like, death was the only way out of it. Because I had tried to get clean a few times, but I wasn't fully committed to recovery like you have to be. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like the first couple times you want them to get you clean.
Yeah, you know, like I wanted to stop using drugs, but I still wanted to hang out with certain people, or I still wanted to go to this house or go to the nightclub, or, you know, I was holding on to things that I really had no business holding on to, you know.
And that's hard to let go, though. Because that lifestyle with your old friends, that's the only life you knew, and that's the only we all seen it as that's the only fun that we could ever have is if we were hanging out with them people, certain people.
You could always tell when I was trying, because that's the only time I'd show up to play ball. You know what I mean? Like, every time I would come home from rehab, I would find the pickup game and join men's league basketball. Me and you always played on the same team. Those were the only times I was, you know, and then if you didn't see me for 7-8 months, I was either locked up or back on the street. You know?
Yeah, well, going along with that, what were some of the challenges that you faced in early recovery, and what's some new challenges now?
Yeah, I had some challenges. So this, you know, number one was my relationship with my mom. I had messed that up so bad that I couldn't get along with my mom. And when I came home this time, so when I went to 2 rehabs in a row, boom, boom. So when I came home, I was kind of solid. You know, I was like 16, 17 months clean when I came back to the res. And so this, every time before, I would come back home and I would not want to be like my mom would be. If I'm going to stay at her house, she'd be like, okay, these are my rules. And I'd be like, fuck your rules. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? This time I had to just, I had to appreciate my mom and love my mom and respect my mom. Okay, that's a big one. I had to respect her. So I had to be okay with, like, I had to ask her permission to take my kids places because of the way my behavior before, which was perfectly acceptable. I had to ask her, if I'm going to go somewhere, I had to tell her where I was going, what I mean? And it really turned out great, because it, my mindset changed. It totally changed that mother-son relationship back to what it was in the beginning. Like, nobody loves you like your mama. You know what I mean? And that was a game changer for me because it showed my mom, my word. I could have told my mom all day long, hey, I'm going to try to do, meant nothing, because I had lied so many times, and it was my actions, I was like, I didn't tell her, I just showed her, like, I want this, I want to be your son again. I want us to be close again. And man, that was great. I didn't have a driver's license. That was a early challenge, and I didn't have a driver's license, My mom hauled me around to places I needed to go. She took me to work, dropped me off, rode home with her, you know what I mean? Like, housing, I lived at my mom's house for almost a year, waiting to get to my apartment, you know what I mean? And that was a challenge. That's a challenge that a lot of us were, in early recovery or in recovery in general. Housing is an issue, right? Employment wasn't too bad of a challenge. I got a job at Mothertown right away. Then I went and worked at the village. Then I got the job at the hospital. But the biggest thing was the challenge was my mindset. And luckily I stayed gone for long enough to get my mind right, my attitude. And I was prepared, That's probably the biggest challenge, though, definitely was that, repairing that relationship with my mom, which, she worked just as hard at it as I did,
That's why I love that, because that's the same thing. That mom. Yeah, because that's love they're giving.
Yeah.
They're just want us to live.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
So we really didn't, I'm sure you guys can agree, but when we were living like that, I thought, man, I was so blinded that I thought it was only me. Like, I'm the one that's hurting, not you. And now that I'm like, been in it, recovery for a while now, and I see it from a totally different point of view. You know what I mean? Like, you hurt everybody around you with your addiction, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And see, with my mom, like y'all said, like, I know he had issues with his addiction, and his mom wanted him to come back and be his normal self all these years too. I mean, like with me, I never got along with my mom or dad ever. Like all through my teen years, I moved out. I moved in with my grandma. My grandma was more of a mom to me than my own mom was. That's how bad we didn't get along. They treated my brother better than they did me, and it took his death for like their mindset to actually accept me for who I am instead of trying to make me somebody I'm not. And once that come around and everything, we got over that hump again. Then me and my mom's relationship, it got back together again, and we were like good again. I just never cared to like be around any of them at all. I've always wanted to. If I went with my grandma, I didn't care to see them at all. Because, I mean, my grandma, when I moved in with her, though, she was an alcoholic herself. And she tried to keep me from getting into that lifestyle herself. But where she was an old lady, she knew she couldn't stop me if she tried to. So that's what led me down that road myself. But I'm just, like you said, I'm glad I repaired that relationship, though, with my mom, because after that, I was so protective over my mom when things happened. It's just crazy. And like you said, I see now that she was just trying to save me from making a bad choice. And I was just too hard-headed to pay attention to that. I just wanted to be like, I just wanted to be like all the other drunks and stuff walking around, thinking they was the cool people.
Yeah, the party. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I started getting high. It was like I wanted to be that guy. You know, like when we was young. You guys all know. There's Rob. Oh, he'll party. You know what I mean? Like that became my identity. You know what I mean? And I wanted to do that, but little did I know. You know what I mean? Like that. I wasn't gonna be able to stop. You know, ever. You know.
Yeah, that train don't stop. So going along with getting that relationship back with your mother, what are some of the other motivations and how did you discover it?
So I think a big part of the motivation so it's one thing to get clean and sober, right? And it's a whole nother thing to stay clean and sober. You know what I mean? And once I started getting some like respect and love back in my life, I was like, boom, like this is where it's at. You know what I mean? And that's what really made me stay in the recovery. Also, you know, a big thing about it is culture. So, you know, when you grow up, well, you guys won't know about this, but when you grow up looking like a white boy but you're Cherokee, you got to go above and beyond to prove that you're Cherokee, right? And so when I got clean, I started getting introduced to some culture by Kiave. You know, and Kiave was the cultural coordinator down at at the rehab I went to, and he started teaching me about stomp and language, and like I was like, it really made me feel good. Like I was like learning it. I was doing really well with it, and I promised him, I was like, listen, man, when I get home, I'm gonna be at the stomp. You know what I mean? You're gonna see me there every time there's a stomp dance. And sure enough, like I got involved, you know, and the more I got involved, the more I started learning, the more like the medicine was working, you know, because that's something I really try to help people with, that I work with now. Like I try to inspire them about culture, because, and this is the example I use. Like when I was junked out, there was nobody I wouldn't steal from. There was no line that I wouldn't cross to get dope money. You know what I mean? But I would never go to a sweat lodge and act a fool, right? You wouldn't do something like that, because even a junkie is going to respect that medicine. You know what I mean? Like that's how powerful it is, right? It is. So why not, instead of running from it, we need to run to it. You know what I mean? Like that was the biggest, that was what, you know, I joined the Indian ball team. I became a leader at the stomp ground. Not just showing up to dance either, you know, but being involved with all the work that goes into green corn and stomp in general, you know. That was a big part of my early recovery, and still is, you know, will forever be, you know, it's a culture piece. That's you know, because so all the science now shows that the opposite of addiction is connection, right? And so what greater connection do you have than being indigenous, right? You know what I mean? Like we're already connected to the land, to the fire, to the mound, to each other. Boom, we have the answer, you know what I mean? We just gotta accept it, you know?
Yeah, that kind of goes on along with our next question, is how important is community?
Oh, community, Gadoogie is like our life. It's what you guys are doing with this show. You know what I mean? It's everything, man. It's top. It's right up there with my recovery. It's important, you know, because for so long I was no matter how we're living, we're a member of the community, right? But I brought so much darkness to the community, you know, and so much negativity and bad medicine in general, that now I have to spend everything in me, you know, bringing good back to the community, you know, and people will listen. Like, you know, if you got something to say and it's positive, man, people are going to hear you and listen, you know. We really are the ones that make a difference with people like us, because you're going to hear it from somebody, you know, somebody's out there suffering. They're going to hear you because you were there, one. Also, they're going to hear you because you're Cherokee, two, you know, and then three, they're going to hear you because they know that you're for real with it. You know what I mean? Like,
you're not trying to hide it.
No.
You're just bringing it out there, and they're going to see your stories about like their story.
Yes. Yeah. I saw some people get clean, and I thought, man, they were just as messed up as I was. If they can do it, then I can do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, there's some people out there that you never thought would straighten up their lives.
We were
and now they've got all kinds of good things.
That's us. You know what I mean? Like, people were like, yo, man, BG, he ain't never going to get it. You know, Frog, he'll always be drunk. You know, Rob, he'll never never get clean. And then when you make it, man, that's all you got. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, if you want to help people, all you got to do is do good for yourself, because people are going to see that. You know what I mean? People are going to see you doing well, and they're going to be like, oh man, I seen Frog out there living his life. You know, I can do that.
Yep.
That's the best way to carry the message, you know, is to do good with your life, you know?
Yeah, carry yourself.
Yep.
All right, and number 5 is how has recovery changed your life and those around you?
Man, recovery saved my life, okay? Like I was, like I said, I was going to die or I was going to get clean. There was going to be no long prison sentence. There wasn't going to be no long life in getting high. I was headed for death, you know? And recovery changed my life drastically. You know, everything I have right now is because of recovery. You know, it's because I got clean and sober, and I stayed clean and sober. I got a job. I got a great job. I got my own place. I got a freaking Harley Davidson. You know, I got a truck. You know, I got a girlfriend that loves me. I got kids, man. My kids, relationship with my kids is great. And then the thing that I'm most grateful for real, is like the thing with my mom. You know what I mean? Because I was my mom's firstborn. You know, like you know, me and her were always close. Even like the first 10 years of my addiction. You know, like she loved me no matter what. Like I'd steal from her, I'd lie to her, I'd take money. It didn't matter. She would still love me. You know what I mean? And I messed that up. You know, after so many years, she was like, "Yo, I had enough of your shit." You know and my brother and my sister, you know, like me and my brother, we always been close.
That's what
but they were done with me too. You know what I mean? Which is understandable. You know, it's not like, you know, it wasn't like they were wrong. They weren't wrong. You know, they had, if they didn't do that, I might not even have got clean, right? Because I didn't have no choice. You know, like they were done. You know, they were done with me, man, and that it hurt me in a way that helped me. You know.
Totally understand that right there.
Yeah, man.
Because when Chuck was alive, he did me the same way.
Yeah.
Like one time he said he got his per cap and he said, "Here's you $500." He said, "You better not be going out and buying no damn drugs or weed with this shit." And I said, I ain't gonna be doing that shit. I said, I'm gonna buy me some new shoes and stuff. I said, thanks though. And right now I went right to the fucking dealer's house, fucking spent all that money up. And then went and found my other friends, and he heard about it. He was madder than hell and beat me up. And he kind of cut me off after that too, and quit like hanging around me after he seen how I was like that. And then I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. But in reality, I did because me and him, we just got our brotherly connection going real good. And then I just screwed that all up and shit. It was kind of hard getting his trust back. But I was glad though when I did sober up and he seen me, like before he passed away, I was working at the casino and everything. I was doing good for myself at the time. And he was all proud of me, and I mean, he would tell me that. And that like meant a lot to me coming from him. Especially where me and him never got along. Well, I guess any brothers fight all the time anyway. But
no, it feels different when it's somebody.
It just feels different because you know, you never would say to your brother, "I love you." Like to their face or something, because you feel like it's not manly or something like that. Then once you get past that shit, you see it's just a good connection.
I tell me and Joe Ward, man, if I see, you know, we hang out all the time, like, hey, love you, bro. Anytime we get on the phone, end of the conversation is always, I love you, man. You know what I mean? Always.
Because you never know when it's the last time you're going to tell them that.
Life is short, man.
For real.
All right, just an extra question. Since you were drug and alcohol counselor, what advice would you give anybody thinking about working in addiction treatment?
Oh yeah, man. All right, working in the recovery field is so rewarding. And me and Brant were having a conversation about this earlier. Like, I thought when I first, because I danced around it for a while. Like I had a job at the hospital. I just worked in a department that had nothing to do with addiction when I first started working there. And I was worried, like, if I started working in the recovery field, number one, like my outreach work was like really important to me, and I didn't want nothing to hinder that. You know, I wanted to just be able to go out and talk to whoever I wanted to, you know, and not be bound by any kind of HIPAA or anything like that. But I was also worried about like when people don't make it, like how that was going to affect me, you know what I mean? And because sadly, like more people don't make it than make it, right? But the fact that you're a part of somebody's story, regardless of how well they do, is like, it's rewarding in its own sense, you know. And instead of being like a bad influence on people like I was for so long, I get to influence people in a positive way. You know what I mean? And if I was any advice for somebody thinking about working in the recovery field, I'm gonna say quit thinking about it and just do it. Because like, number one, like you're gonna pay me like this much money to just be in recovery, you know, I'm gonna take that, you know what I mean? Like pay me that money, you know what I mean? Because all you gotta do, man, is just, it helps you, you know, helping other people is how it's supposed to be anyways. You know, that's how we're supposed to be as indigenous people anyways. You know, if you got a problem, then I got a problem, you know what I mean? If so-and-so is struggling, then we're struggling, you know what I mean? Like we gotta change that stigma, you know what I mean?
We gotta like help each other out instead of tearing each other down.
It's crazy how that is too. That's something I've looked a lot into, generational trauma and stuff like that. It's like we treat each other worse than we let some racist redneck people treat our people. You know what I mean? We'll do ourselves dirty before we let somebody else do it. And we got to get past that, you know what I mean? But working in the recovery field is awesome, man, like for real. Like I really, you know, I remember when I was younger, you know, you'd hear people say, oh, if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life, you know. And I honestly was like, man, I'll never have a job that I love that much. You know? But I do, you know what I mean? Like now I really do. And the sky is the limit at where I work. You know, you can just keep going up and up and up. And it feels good to be from here, working here. You know what I mean? Like that's something that's big, you know. I think a lot of times we get blinded. We're blinded when we tell people, oh, you need to leave. Oh, you should just leave. You know, if you leave Cherokee, everything will be okay. That's not the case, right? So somebody in your family put dirt on that mountain, you know, every year when they build it back up. And that's why you stay. Like, you know, like somebody goes off to college and they end up coming back and we're like, oh, you couldn't make it. You know what I mean? But that's not what brings you back. It's like, you know, our ancestors fought really freaking hard for us to be here. You know what I mean? For us to be right here. You know, and that's why we're here. So, you know, that part of it is all connected to working in the recovery field. You know what I mean? It's really rewarding, man.
Oh yeah.
Just something extra. If you might share, I know we went through the MAT program. How did you go to MAT, or how was your recovery? Just how there's different paths. Definitely. You know, so each person has their own recovery, and if you want, that's a good point, because if you want to work in the recovery field, you got to let go of everything. You have to be totally open-minded, all right? Because my recovery journey is different from your recovery than yours. You know, everybody has their own path, and you have to support somebody else's path, even if it's not your own. You know, like I'm not a participant in MAT, but I work with people that are in MAT, and I fully support that. I hate the stigma that comes with that, because you guys are living your lives, you know what I mean? And if it wasn't for that, for MAT, you might not even be here. You know what I mean? It goes right along with harm reduction and that stigma. You know, it's the same thing. I was just, you know, I had took Suboxone on the street a few times when I was sick. You know what I mean? But I never, you know, for me, it wasn't like they had Suboxone clinic when I got clean, but I just, you know, I was like, I didn't try it at all. You know, I just went to rehab. Like that was the only option back in the day when I was first trying. So that's the only way I tried it, you know. And I was even on all kind of like anxiety meds and sleep meds and stuff when I first went to rehab.
And I had lied to get those meds in detox, right? I was like, oh, I can't sleep. Oh, I'm stressed. Oh, I'm worried, because I wanted them to give me drugs, you know? And even though they weren't narcotics, you know, that's the mentality. I was like taking all these different pills. So when I was in rehab for just a couple of months, and then that night, there wasn't a tech there that was qualified to give us our medication. And that night was horrible. Like I didn't, you know, I couldn't sleep. I was sweating. I was like, damn, I'm addicted to these
Didn't really came
meds.
back on you after that.
I was like, man, so I signed my life away and told, you know, I was like, I'm not taking these meds no more. I don't need them. And they were freaking out because they were like, no, you need them. I was like, no, I don't. I lied to get these meds. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be on any medication. Like I just came on in my head that, you know, I don't need these things, you know, like and it took a few days before I started to feel okay, but I felt great, you know, and I've been through 2 knee surgeries since I got clean. So I had surgery on my meniscus, and I didn't, the Dr. Supik knows me, you know, and he was like, he knows I'm in recovery. He's known me for 20 some years. He's done multiple surgeries on me, you know, and he knew me when I was a junkie. And he was like, I told him, I was like, hey man, you know I'm in long-term recovery now. And he's like, all right man, you don't have to worry, this meniscus surgery ain't nothing. You're not even gonna need no narcotics. He's like, Tylenol, Motrin, that's all. And he was right, like I didn't, you know. But then, just in March, this winter, I tore my ACL bad. Like, man, I folded that.
That's a whole different side.
Yeah, and he told me, he was like, listen, he's like, I know how you feel about narcotics. He's like, but you're probably going to need some narcotic pain meds after this surgery. He's like, but we're going to have let's make a plan. And I was like, yeah, good. So he's like, I'm going to give you enough Vicodins to last you for 3 days, you know? And so I don't even remember how many pills was in that bottle, right? So the first day when I came home from surgery, I took 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like 2, that's what he told me, take 2 of them the day I got home. And I'm not kidding, man. I used to be a hardcore junkie, right? Yeah. And 2 Vicodins made my head spin, man. It scared me. Like, seriously, I was like, yo, I felt high. You know, and I was really like, yo, this is not cool. I don't like this, you know. And so the next day, I got up, my knee was hurting, and I was like, maybe I better just take a half of one. And I took that, and then I didn't take no more pain meds after that. You know, I got rid of them. I was responsible about it. I was safe, but now this is after 5 years of recovery. You know what I mean? Like, I took it serious, had a plan, you know, but I could, you know, it could have been much worse. You know what I mean? But I take that shit serious, you know, eat, sleep, and breathe recovery.
And that just shows how far along you've came in your recovery by not letting that temptation, because that could be a really big temptation for anybody to have that kind of pills in front of you.
And I thought, I remember thinking like, they're just Vicodins. I mean, that's like the lowest of the low. Yeah, man. Yo, because I've not took nothing. You know, I haven't smoked weed. I haven't drank alcohol. You know, I barely take Motrin and stuff. When, you know, like if I have a headache, because I just want to, you know, if I could stop chewing tobacco and drinking coffee, I could be like, you know what I mean, like straight edge. You know, like remember when Stan Waddy was in school and he always put them X's on his hands? I thought that was so cool, man, because I was like, what do those mean? He's like, that means I'm straight edge, man. No caffeine, no nicotine, no nothing. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. But yeah, man, it's like I really do, you know. And that's another thing too. So like when you're like standing up and speaking and preaching these things, like you have to stand on it. You know what I mean? And you have to practice what you preach. And I think that's why I get a lot of respect when I go down to the rehab. I get to go down there once a week and teach classes. Like everybody there knows that like I'm for real about this, and that's important. You know, we need people to stand up and be for real about it. Because unfortunately, man, there's people that don't, you know, and that it's like adds to the stigma that we're already fighting against, right? You know,
the favors. It's like when you got the fake pill.
And the fake 30s in your hand.
Man, I tell you though, it's nothing but recovery is everything, you know what I mean? And that it will truly change your life, you know, and you guys have seen it and done it, so you know exactly what I mean. Like, and once you make it out and you get some time, you know, and you look back, you honestly, I'm sure you guys have said this, like, it wasn't that hard. Like, wow, like it was not, you know, it's the hardest and the easiest thing you'll ever do, right? You know what I mean? It really is.
It's hard in the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to start, you know, but once you get going, man, it's like boom, boom. You just look a short distance ahead, you know what I mean? It's boom, 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 you know? One foot in front of yeah, it's so easy. You know what I mean? It's not as hard as we thought it would be, you know?
Yeah, for real.
And then the rewards are bigger than you ever thought.
Yeah, man.
Because they're bigger than money.
Yeah, there's so much bigger things than money, you know, like love and respect and trust, right? Trust to be, you know, you guys are probably like, okay, so my brother, right, super successful, great guy, you know, college football star, semi-pro football star, you know, like my brother is like the most trustworthy person I know, honestly, right? And so now, he's still that trustworthy, okay? But, like, when my mom needs something, she can call on me, you know what I mean? Whereas I was the last person you wanted to call, you know? It changes, you know? That to me is worth more than money, you know
exactly, man. For real.
It changed the way your family.
Yeah, man. Because you know, you guys know how it feels to be the disappointment.
Heck yeah, man.
You know, like we acted, like you said, acted like we didn't care. Like when you was talking about Chuck, you know, oh, that don't bother me, but really, man, it hurts, man. But we're covering that up, you know, by getting high. You know, I thought I didn't care. I thought it didn't bother me. Like, oh, well, my family's done with me. Oh, well. You know? But then I was like, oh, man, my family's done with me. You know what I mean? Now I got to feel this. You know, now I got to change this, you know.
I got to get that back.
Yeah, all that stuff's more valuable than money.
Yeah, it is,
big
for
time,
real.
you know.
Well, folks, I just want to thank us both, man, for sharing.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation.
Yeah, it is. Like he said, I love getting together with old friends. That I mean, even though we used to be using buddies, we was friends before we started using and shit. So we kind of like followed each other down that recovery path, like you said. But we all chose our own path. And how to make it, and we made it work. And if we can do it, then we know all our other buddies out there can do it. For real.
That's why it's important. That's why I'm such a big fan of the Fire Keeper Recovery. Is that what it's right? It's because like it's a platform for you guys to say, you know what, like I'm in recovery. You know what I mean? And I'm not a bad person, and I deserve to be here, right? You know what I mean? And that's what we got to speak up, and we got to say that, you know. And I like too now. It's like getting clean is cool, right? You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was like, you know, Frog's trying to quit drinking, fuck him. You know what I mean?
They say, fuck
He's a wuss, you know?
quit.
But now it's like, yo, man, people are like celebrating. And it's not just our friends, right? It's like police officers, court staff, you know,
like when I was down here,
members.
When I was down here at this little convention thing for the dispensary a little while ago, there was people coming up to me, congratulating me and stuff that I didn't even know. Someone goes like, hey, are you the one that was on that little podcast with Fire Keeper? I said, He's like, you did a great job. You keep it up. All of us keep it up. I said, that's cool to hear that from other people in the community that don't even know you.
and when it's somebody that's like big, you know, like council or you know, I remember when I first got home and the same police officers that were arresting were telling me how proud they were of me. That like that's one of them ones where like when Chuck told you, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh wow. Like that's deep, you know what I mean? Like that made me feel really good because I thought it was us versus them. But I was breaking the law. That's why you're arresting me, right? You know, man, I deserved that shit. You know.
And there we was acting like little damn assholes about it.
That's the thing too, man. Like a lot of us and a lot of the young people, man, and we were the same way. We thought we were like gangsters, right? Like we wanted to be gangsters, and you know, like bad boys, and that's not who we're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like
that's not part of our religion.
No, man. No,
that don't even fly on the reservation.
No, man, we're supposed to be the complete opposite of that, and that's what for me it's like being a Cherokee man is all about, like doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And if like, okay, so we were all looking for like that perfect high. That whole career when we were doing that. That's what we were chasing. And the whole time, we didn't even know that just doing the right thing and being good people is the perfect time, right? Because every night when I go to sleep, like I lay my head down and I go to sleep. I'm not worried, I'm not stressed. Even when something bad happens, like you said, I'm gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Because I got that peace, you know, that tawheed. You know, that's the goal. You know what I mean? And we were doing the complete opposite of tawheed. You know what I mean? We were like looking for chaos. You know what I mean? Thinking that, oh, that's what we want, you know, but we were just running in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? Got to get on do you think, you know, the right path. You know.
All right, bud. You got anything you want to promote?
Man, so, well, no, the recovery rally. There's a big overdose awareness day. I think it's August 30th or 31st in Silva at that park. I think I told Bumper about it. You know, I want you guys to show up. You know, there's going to be times for people to come up and speak, and we can all talk about Jake and Critter, you know, at least say their names and tell a little bit about why we, you know, that's the only event I know that's coming up that I'm aware of right now. We had the recovery rally. It was great. It went off well. I got to be on the committee to help put that together. That was a big honor, you know. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I know of right now going on, other than you know, there's some meetings in Cherokee, you know, if you're looking for a meeting. There's not a lot, but you know, if you need one, reach out. We can help you find one, you know. And if you can't find a meeting, then do something like, you know, get with other people, like-minded people, and just hang out and have a good time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You got anything events you plan?
No, not really. Just the usual. Just going to your little Mara meetings on Tuesday after our regular meetings all week. Other than that, just slaving away.
Heck yeah. Well, this is what we do. We'll be here next week on Monday or Tuesday with the next episode. So for Brant,
Jeremiah Pheasant,
Robert Martens.
I just want to say thank you for joining Firekeeper Recovery, and remember, we'll leave the light on for you. Big Native, BG, it's the band. Cherokee, we them firekeepers. We them firekeepers. We them firekeepers. We them firekeepers. This is a spark, be the gasoline. This is only a start. My fire stays burning to light up a path out of the darkness and make a new math. Be a firekeeper, let your fire burn bright. We them firekeepers, never give up the fight. We them firekeepers, recovery. We a firekeeper in recovery. Be a firekeeper in recovery. Be a firekeeper in recovery.